right there. So cutting out the spinal cord, okay, this would be gray matter. Okay, it is mostly cell bodies. You guys remember? Okay. And the rest is white matter. Okay, or the white column, we call it. Ascending and descending tracks. Posterior are ascending axons. Anterior and lateral are a mix of ascending and descending. Okay, again, same thing. Posterior is ascending. Anterior is more descending and ascending as well. Okay. Circulation and the CNS. Recall the blood supply is privileged. Blood-brain barrier. Not everything can enter the brain. That's why there's a very specific barrier, very tight. Not a lot of things can get through. Okay. CNS is very needy. It requires some specialization, which prevent blood flow from interruption. It's got filters. Okay. It's got fluid, cerebral spinal fluid. Must return to the venous blood. Okay. So here is the protective layer. Okay, there are 3 layers. Okay. So here's the skull. Here is the superior sagittal sinus. Now here, okay, the first layer is the dura mater. Dura means tough. Okay. Mater is actually a Latin for mother. So the first layer is tough mother. It's super tough. Okay, second layer is called a arachnoid. Okay, you see how it looks like spider web. Okay. The third layer, let's see. Okay, here it is. Third layer is this little line right there called a pia mater. Okay, so first one is tough, and the second one is arachnoid, and the third one is the very, very light layer. Okay, these are called meninges, 3 meninges that wraps around your brain. So here's your brain. Oh, here it is. Dura mother, tough mother. Okay. Continue down the spinal cord, terminating at the second sacral vertebrae. Okay. So even your spinal cord has a tough mother. Okay. Arachnoid, which is the second one, web-like. Okay. Between the arachnoid and the pia mater is the subarachnoid space, which has the cerebral spinal fluid. Okay, so again, here is the subarachnoid space. Okay, we're going to learn different ventricles where the CSF is. That's what I was going to tell you about, different ventricles. So here it is, another view. The outside one is a dura, arachnoid, and then the pia. Okay, here's your spinal cord. If we look at this, okay, this is the posterior horn. All right, right there. So you see the spine. This is the back of the spine. And from the picture, this looks like a what? Lumbar spine, because it's not long. It doesn't have a long spinous process. Okay, it doesn't have the holes for the cervical nerve either. So this would be a lumbar vertebrae. So posterior horn, again, is mostly for sensory. Anterior is mostly for motor. Okay. These are called dorsal nerve, dorsal root, and these bundle right there is called a dorsal root ganglion. So if you look at this, let's see. This one doesn't show it. So the dorsal nerve root ganglion would be around there somewhere. You'll see in the lab that it's a big bulging. Well, not a big bulge. It's just a little bit more bulging. That would be the dorsal root ganglion. The ventricles. There are 4 ventricles to remember. Okay, 4 of them. So here's what the brain looks like. Here it is. So the ventricle is where most CSF is formed, in the lateral ventricle. Okay, laterals are the big ones. Okay, lateral ventricle. So there's one on the right, one on the left. The third one is this one right here, third ventricle, and the fourth ventricle is this sharp one right there. That thing we saw it. Okay, so the fourth ventricle will be right there. The fourth ventricle would be right there. There it is, fourth ventricle. This is the third ventricle. Okay, and here is the extend a little bit further. Okay, the lateral ventricles. Okay, remember where the choroid plexus is? That's where they form the CSF. Let's see where we are. Okay, I think we did. Okay, CSF, choroid plexus. Okay, remember choroid plexus? We saw those earlier. And the ependymal cells, that's what makes them. Okay. It bathe and protect the brain and cord. Cerebrospinal circulation. It goes here. Okay. Here's that. Here's that fourth ventricle I talked to you about. Third ventricle is here. And the lateral ventricles. Here's the right lateral ventricle. So that was the CNS. Now we're going to talk about PNS. PNS stands for the peripheral nervous system. Cranial, it's got some cranial nerves, spinal nerve, ganglion, receptors. It is a relay system to and from the CNS. Okay, oh, here it is. Here's a picture of the posterior ganglion. Okay, so if you see this ganglion, you know this is the posterior horn. Okay, so posterior is mostly sensory information comes in here, up the brain, and down the anterior horn for motor, and out this way. Okay, ganglia. Sensory can be associated with the spinal and cranial nerve. Dorsal root ganglia, for example, is a unipolar body cells with satellite cells surrounding it. Autonomic system, okay, comes from the lateral horn. Okay, they are multipolar. For example, the sympathetic and parasympathetic system, those are all autonomic. Structure of these nerves is axons. Okay. Similar is the outside is epineurium. Okay. It's got fascicle and the neurium and then a nerve fiber, just like the muscle. So you have 12 pairs of cranial nerves. We need to remember them, and we need to identify them in the lab. Okay. All but 2 arises from the brainstem. Okay. Most are mixed nerve, but some are sensory only. Okay. So let's go through them. Okay. There are 12 nerves. Okay. They're all written in Roman numerals. Okay. Olfactory would be for your smell. Okay. Number 1. Optic nerve is 2. So here's the optic chiasm we saw earlier. Okay, it's the bridge. Okay, optic nerve is for the eye. So as it goes down, ocular motor, it moves the eye. Okay, 4, trochlear nerve, also move the eyes. Trigeminal nerve in the face. Okay, abducen also move the eyes. So if you look at this picture, 2, 3, 4 is about the eyes. Facial nerve is 7. This number 8 is got the vestibular part and cochlear part. So it's actually 2 nerves combined in one. Vestibular, cochlear. So hearing and balance. Okay. Number 9, glossopharyngeal. Okay, tongue. Number 10,